I'm going to call this meeting to order and ask that you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America and to our Texas flags. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, we've got 8:35, good morning, 8:35 a.m., and it is Thursday, May 5th. We are located on the third floor of Nueces County Courthouse, which is the Nueces County Commissioner's Courtroom. I do certify a quorum is present. Commissioner Chesney, Commissioner Hernandez, Commissioner Mattis, and myself are here. And at this time, I'll ask for announcement on disclosure of conflicts of interest. If any conflicts of interest exist on the items of this agenda, we ask that they be declared at this time. And also, just for the record, members that do have conflicts refrain from voting and are asked to refrain from discussion on such items. Hearing and seeing none, we'll ask Timothy to give us a brief safety briefing.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Excuse me, let the record reflect that all commissioners are present. Emma, go ahead.
Good morning. We're meeting here today on the third floor of the Nueces County Courthouse, 901 Leopard Street. For those in attendance, the restrooms are located on the right-hand side of the third floor atrium as you exit the courtroom past the Human Resources Office. Please note the fire extinguisher at the rear of the courtroom. In the event of a cardiac emergency, an AED is located on the atrium wall next to the Human Resources Office. In the event of emergency, the person responsible for dialing 911 is Connie. In the event of an evacuation, our egress route will be down the atrium stairs, exit LaPan Street entrance, assembling in the parking lot across the street. Should there be a need to shelter in place, court attendees will remain in place within the courtroom. Depending upon the severity of the incident, the courtroom's double doors will be secured and remain secured until given further instructions from the Nueces County Sheriff's Office or other law enforcement agencies. That concludes my brief.
Thank you so much. We do have public comment available to all this morning online. I see none, but would ask if anybody online does want to speak, you'll let us know with your icon of a hand. But in our courtroom, we have Mr. Ernest Garza. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Ernest Garza, 4530 White Oak, local accountant. I am here, though, today on public comment just to present, I'm with the Northwest Rotary, and we have a community project we want to do. I've handed y'all brochures, and I know this is public comment, we can't get in discussion, but it's a handicap wheelchair project that we have bought the equipment. We are just coming to the county if there's a location that would be interested into for us to install this at one of the sites. Anyway, that's what I'm here about. I know we'll need to put on the agenda so we can have further discussion. Anyway, we're excited about it, and it's, again, we're here service of above self. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. With that, that concludes our public comment, and I would move us towards the regular agenda items, which is number 1, discuss and consider selection of an applicant to fill the position of the Chief Medical Examiner pursuant to the Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 49.25, and related matters. Item number 2 also relates to the medical examiner and includes compensation and related matters. And number 3 also refers to the medical examiner's office, including providing for the discuss and consideration of resources and funding, including personnel, equipment, building renovations, related matters. I'm going to check with the county attorney, but I believe all 3 will be handled in executive session this morning.
First, if that's what you, yes.
Okay. And we're also most likely will come out and discuss all of these as well. But at this time, I'm going to give public notice that Commissioners Court may go into executive session during the meeting to discuss matters listed on the agenda. It's authorized by provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. And we also do so in accordance with Government Code, Vernon's Texas Codes 551, 071, 72, 73, 74, 745, 76, 86, and 87. and we're holding this session to consult with our attorney, which includes matters relating to litigation, real property, prospective gifts. This is the one that matters, and this one, personnel matters, including termination, county advisory bodies, security devices, economic development, any other matters that may be discussed in executive session. Upon completion of executive session, Commissioners Court may in open session take such action as appropriate on items discussed in executive session. So we're going to ask everyone that's not a part of these items, to clear the courtroom, and we will be back. And the time for you is 8:40. Did I give you the time that we started? I did, right? 8:40 a.m. Yes, sir? So I'm coming, Connie, back on the record. It's 12:20 p.m. Our mics are up, and we have concluded our executive session, and we do wish to take some action on some items that were taken up in executive session at this time. They do relate to items 1 and items 3 in many ways. The motion is at this time to accept the offer that was given to Commissioners Court by Dr. Timothy Fagan to fill the position of our Chief Medical Examiner to begin on July 18th, and that he will present a contract to our county attorney, who will then review and bring to court for finalization. This contract will include the parameters that the court has accepted as part of the offer, which will include the acknowledgement of the court's previous action on the base salary of the chief medical examiner. It also will include the base salary of the deputy chief, and also a timeline for a deputy medical examiner position. In addition, there will be other items that will be discussed, or I should say articulated, not discussed, in the contract that will include very good provisions that are important to the office, such as continuing education in conferences, including the travel for those conferences, a relocation allowance, supplement for locums assistance for the medical examiner's office, as well as potential continuation of Dr. Fernandez's assistance in the office.
Judge, you want to,
Other parameters will be, further memorialized at a later date. Yes, sir.
I want to try to get this down to a motion for her that I think you're trying to make. Do you want to, do it in the vein of accepting his recommended list with the tweaks that we have added to the list, or do you want to do those one at a time?
Well,
So that it's clear for the record for
yeah, I
for
think
him to
what we
see
can
and
do
people to
is,
see.
do you want to do the exclusions or do you want to do the inclusions? How do you see it?
Well, what I would suggest is we accept the counteroffer suggested by Dr. Fagan that we've agreed to, and then add the parts that we have tweaked.
Okay, and I think I was on that list, but I think I need to get to the tweak of the most important, which is that the deputy ME would not be selected until the fiscal year 23-24, in the month of July.
And that
And the other tweak, Commissioner, you
Hold
want
on,
to go ahead and add
Well, I
it?
was going to say, and that the ARPA funds would be used for the July, August, and September portion of 2023.
Correct?
That the ARPA funds also would be used for, as you say, the delta of the extra expenses for this year.
If no salary savings were to be had,
No, I meant
correct?
the delta for the extra stuff that we're doing
Yes.
for this year, the increases and so forth. That we had indicated that there would be cost savings from the unfilled position of the deputy chief and the pathology assistant, and all of that would be included in the budget provided for Dr. Fagan for the locum / Dr. Fernandez, which would total $500,000, which is an additional $300,000 of new money, but 200,000 of cost savings. That we would also eliminate the pathology assistant, and that Dr. Fagan would present the contract to the county attorney for review. And I believe
And the
that,
only correction, and I'm certain you meant it, you said deputy chief, but it's deputy, the savings comes from our deputy ME, because that's the posted position.
I thought Dale said that we already had the deputy chief. Is that wrong, Dale?
The deputy chief is already budgeted, yes.
Yes, so it is from the deputy chief, Judge.
Okay, but the salary savings would be from,
We don't have a deputy ME. I think he said we just have a deputy chief. Or am I wrong?
currently,
Budgeted deputy chief.
we've budgeted a deputy chief, but our current opening vacancy is what?
Deputy chief,
Deputy chief is vacant.
yes.
Okay, that's the vacancy.
So it is the
Okay,
deputy
you're
chief.
right then.
Okay.
Okay, that's the vacancy.
So is that for the clerk?
I mean, that's a lot for
Right.
emotion, but what we're trying to do is accept the offer that's been presented, and all of the different, bullet points have been articulated.
Transparent.
And again, the most important highlight here is that ARPA funds will be used to supplement that very limited portion from July to September of '23. And again, this fiscal year, the same, July 18th through the end of our fiscal year, if needed.
Right.
Okay?
So I think, I don't know
I
if you
think
want,
that's a good motion, and
you want you to make it or me to
I'm
make it?
happy. You can make it, I'll second. How's
Fair.
that?
Okay.
We
Is that-
both
was that
contributed to
clear?
the
Good,
cacophony there.
okay. There you go.
All right, so there's a motion and a second. And any further discussion at all? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay,
One other quick motion, Judge?
yes, please.
To approve Dr. Fernandez's list of equipment needs that was under $50,000 normally. I'll just make that motion.
All right, and
Don't need to explain.
there's a motion and a second. And again, this is just the clarification. He'll put in the PO. This is just advance acceptance of those needs from a fiscal standpoint. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I'd like to also make another motion. I'd like to, Public Works, I don't know if they're here or not, but I'd like them to go ahead and just kind of a upgrade of the medical examiner's office to, and he said he would do it under his department at their expense. I think that's what he said. And they just go ahead and do the cleanup right now as far as the, some of the basic cleanup that it
Like,
needs.
you're talking about
But
the,
the ceilings, the vents.
I'm sorry, that should have been part of.
The carpet
yeah.
and the painting, so, which is very, very badly needed. So,
And that should have been in the other motion, so that's, I would
That's fine.
second that.
Again, that's what I'm going to call the aesthetics of the office, the paint, the carpet. And again, that the motion is to approve the under $50,000 expense that would be needed for the equipment, and then another one for the, just call it the maintenance upgrade.
Yeah.
Of course, all of this would have to be done with the medical examiners in mind, right? Allow him to dictate. Okay, is there a motion, there's a motion, and Chesney, I'll take it as a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Gonzalez had the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay,
That's it.
I think that's it for today. The agenda items that were listed, Ms. Dorsey, I feel like covered both the selection and one, the personnel, including compensation, as our motion also included that. And then on item 3, we just dealt with some equipment and some upgrades to the building renovations, both of which will come in through a purchase order through the director of, which is the medical examiner. With no further business here at hand, it's 12:29 PM and we stand adjourned.